About a minute to go. Because we're here pursuant to notice, we'll follow the rules.
You're the top.
You're gonna hand it.
Brian, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Josh, are we ready to go? When we're ready to go? All right. It's 7 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Delaney.
Here.
Perkins.
Here.
Musgrave.
Present.
Weinbrenner.
Here.
Kinnaman.
Here.
Powers.
Here.
McKenney.
Here. We have a quorum. Consent agenda. All items listed under consent agenda are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the village council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and discussed separately immediately after consent agenda approval in its normal sequence on the regular agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
There's motion and support. Roll call vote, please.
Musgrave.
Yes.
Weinbrenner.
Yes.
Delaney.
Yes.
Kinnaman.
Yes.
Powers.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
McKenney.
Yes, motion carried. Next item is public comment. Members of the public can address council once recognized by the chairperson. Comments are limited to a maximum of 4 minutes for items not on the agenda. Council may extend this time by up to an additional 4 minutes by a majority vote. For items on the agenda, comments may be made after council discussion prior to council vote. Prior to addressing council, members of the public, we ask that they please state their name and address for the record. Items on the agenda tonight. Old business. One item, consideration of the request to vacate the alley between 208 First Street and 111 North Street. New business, 6 items. 1, report on 108 Airport Road. 2, consideration of the approval of the Fire Department union contract. 3, special event Holly Dickens Festival Parade. 4, special event Holly Dickens Festival. 5, consideration of the approval of fiscal year 2022 Smart Municipal Credit Contract. Item 6, consideration of the approval of the fiscal year 2023 Smart Specialized Services Operating Assistance Program. Those are the items that are on tonight's agenda. There's another item on the agenda, which is closed session. We wouldn't have discussions of it anyway. We're now open for public comment. Yes? Good evening. Oh, I was going to say, it's November, and I'm asking people voluntarily to tell us their plans for Thanksgiving. Are they entertaining or are they being entertained? You don't have to answer that.
Both?
You have a right to answer. Am I right, Chief?
I'm having Friendsgiving, which is my favorite holiday. I'm Kristen Watt, 102 South First Street, Apartment 3. I just wanted to, it may not even be an issue. I'm so happy to see that road paved, or whatever process it's going to, because I know we've all been miserable with that. But I did want to bring it up just in case. I don't know what the next couple weeks are going to hold as far as the finishing or hopefully nearing completion of the road construction on Saginaw. But my business is at 1006 North Saginaw Street, Suite C. And I wanted to just bring to your attention, whoever is in communications with those who are doing the road construction, that this past Saturday, As they were diligently working, they also parked their horribly huge trucks in front of the entrance to our strip mall, literally most of the day. People could not get in or out. And we have 3 to 5 businesses in that strip center. So whoever's in charge of talking to those folks, if they're going to do hopefully more completing work, could we just maybe suggest that they not block businesses on a Saturday? That would be great. That's all. And I'm going to have a great Thanksgiving. I hope you all do too. So.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further public comment? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't know whether, my name is Dan, I'm at 108 Airport. I don't know whether they're bringing this comment up now or after the discussion.
You're an agenda, and if you want to wait, we can.
Well, I don't know if it pertains to the agenda or not. So my question is, I looked up on Facebook, and there's a report back in July about a member of the village workers being verbally assaulted and almost assaulted, and the person who did it got arrested. August 31st, I was assaulted by a village employee. Nothing happened. I was informed by the chief of police. The report was sent to the prosecutor. I called prosecution. No report was sent to them. The employee is still sitting in this room. I would like to have an answer.
Is that your comment?
That's my comment.
Okay, all right, thank you. We don't dialogue, there's no dialogue during this time. We hear your comments, and we'll address it with the administration.
Okay, and I'll be addressing with my attorney too.
Okay, thank you. Any further public comments, sir? Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Jacob Crevier, 507 Ash Street. Just a few things to go over here. First off, I'm pretty sure everybody else has seen, but the Holly Township Board of Trustee member, Derek Burton, had a pulmonary embolism. He's a pretty young guy. He just bounced out of the hospital. I've been talking to a few people. We got him a get well card if you guys would like to sign. I have a pen here, but if you want to just pass it down.
Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just figured it'd be a nice thing to do. It's scary times, it's polarizing times, but it doesn't mean we have to be bad or miserable people over it. Secondly, I wanted to thank a few members of the board that I saw out during the search for Vern on Wednesday. That was nice to see. That was a pretty scary thing. When I grew up in Davison, there was a boy named Omarion Humphrey. He was 9 years old, severe autism. He went missing. People searched for days. We checked our property, and it turns out they found him floating in a lake they had recently built in our area. And myself, my friends, my family, we helped with that search as well. And that was really depressing, but it was really refreshing to see so many people in Holly out looking for him, and I'm just glad that he's all right. And then lastly, just an announcement for the council. There's going to be a civilian-held meeting about some of the water issues in Holly at the American Legion Outpost on Thursday, November 18th at 7. You guys are more than welcome to come. I know Stacy Taylor's going to be discussing some of the issues on Falk Road. I spoke to her today. I went out to her place. Saw a lot of evidence of a lot of issues out there. She walked me around her property. I saw a lot of the damage that some of that water has caused. And I got to see the bag of pills that she has to take for all of the medical issues that she has and that some of her neighbors have. I haven't gone down that road since 2017 because I used to have a friend who lived in that trailer park. But I was pretty horrified to see the amount of, I guess you could say, ecological destruction out there. And it's just not going to end well. But it's a brainstorming session at the American Legion. Folks are going to be coming up with some ideas, some buttons that we can push to try to get some legislation passed or the state to kind of halt that construction there until Eagle finishes their $300,000 worth of testing that they want to do to that site. Because the last thing we want is them to continue construction and then the testing results to come back skewed because they're spreading it more. And lastly,
You got to tell us about Thanksgiving, too.
Thanksgiving, all right. Thanksgiving, I am entertaining, unfortunately. So that is going to be
It's always better to be entertained.
horrible.
That's a good thing.
It's fun, but the mess is not fun. But the last thing I had to say is just to let the members of the council know, Some of you probably already do, but the bipartisan infrastructure package has finally passed Congress. It's gone to the president's desk. That money is coming. It's probably not going to hit Michigan or Holly immediately, but with some of the infrastructure issues that we do have, just hound them about it. Hound people like Mike Muller or Ruth Johnson or whoever's going to have those seats come 2022, because there's some redistricting shuffle, and it looks like Holly might be kind of split a bit or shunted to some different districts. But it's something to stay on top of. We've had some good progress with the construction over the past week or so, and it would be great to see some more of our own money come back into our community. And that was it.
Thank you. Don't forget your
Yeah.
envelope. Thank you for that idea, too. Any other public comment this evening? Yes, Marlo. Good evening.
I have a news flash and I'm being entertained.
You're not out of order. Thank you.
With Dickens on the agenda, probably appropriate to mention that our community sing, which is normally held on Friday after Thanksgiving, generally before the lighted parade, and the lighted parade's not happening until Saturday. So it's being moved. Community sing is being moved to First Baptist Church, and we are going to start this time at 5:30. So everybody coming, bring an ornament, put it on the tree, and we will start at 6 o'clock with our own tree lighting ceremony and sing at 6 o'clock, and we'll have cocoa, coffee, or tea and cookies for refreshments. We have a great time, so come on.
Thank you. Any further public comment? Hearing none, seeing none, we'll move on the agenda. Next is old business. Consideration of the request to vacate the alley between 208 First Street and 111 North Street. Mr. Gildner, do you have some comments about this?
I do. This was discussed briefly at your last meeting. Jerry did a report then, and I know he did a report to you this time around as well. So, as I understand it, a request was made to vacate this roadway. Vacating a public way like that or an alley is purely discretionary on the village's part. And what happens to that property if it's in fact vacated is it's essentially split, and one half goes to each property owner that abuts that alley or roadway. My understanding is that there was some discussion with Jerry and those adjoining landowners about, instead of vacating it, maybe doing some sort of license, or vacating it with some sort of license, which is just a legal document which specifies who can do what with respect to that alley or roadway. It's further my understanding that there is not an agreement between those property owners about what can be done with that, who can use it, who owns it, other important considerations. And so in light of that, my recommendation to council is not to vacate that alley. I think doing so when you have two property owners that cannot agree in terms of who can do what with respect to it is just leading to more problems. And they may come knocking on your door claiming that the neighbor's doing such and so, that they shouldn't be, and vice versa. So as I said, it's a purely discretionary act. Here, I don't see any reason really pushing in favor of it, and my understanding is that Jerry is just turning it over to council with that understanding. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Council have any questions of Mr. Gildner at this time?
Yes, if we take no action, then they will both retain usage of the property.
If you take no action, it remains as it is.
Okay.
In its present state.
Thank you, Mr. Gildner. Any further questions of Mr. Gildner? Is Mr. Birmingham here?
Here.
Yes, sir. Did you want to make any remarks this evening?
Yes, I would.
Yeah.
I'm at 211 North Saginaw Street, and my wife is handicapped, and we have no driveway, period. That is the vein to the outside world for us. next door neighbor, he's got 2 driveways, a circular drive. We have no driveway. I need that driveway, that alleyway to come up, you know, and straight back for my wife, so it could be accessible, handicap accessible. I have no driveway. That's all I'm asking. I'll buy the property. Whatever I have to do, I would like to, I'm tired of having cars go through there. There's people loitering back through there. I wake up every morning to go to work I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I work out and I get myself set and ready to go out the door very early in the morning. And I gotta think to myself, is that alleyway gonna be blocked down there? Because if it is, I can't go nowhere else. Because if I go out the circular drive, I can't use a circular drive because they won't let me use a circular drive. They'll call the police officer on me. And I can't wake up every morning like that. I shouldn't have to. And me and the wife would like to get that alleyway and purchase it if we can. And I would like to put a fence up down there with a nice swing gate, nice privacy fence coming up, real nice. I take care of that alleyway through all the years. I've been trying to get that alleyway for the last 10 years. Jerry Walker, you know, and nothing happened. And then soon after that, about a month or whatever it was ago, people were moving out there, and I got the okay they gave me the okay to take up that alleyway up to the point where the next door neighbor is of mine. And then that's where the discrepancy is. He wanted a sliver of 5 feet. You know, if he takes that 5 feet, if I get that alleyway, he's going to get that. But I'm thinking my wife is handicapped. She needs that accessibility going all the way up. And I'd love to have that thing blocked off and live a normal life. I have to wake up every morning thinking, am I going to get out or not? It's just ridiculous. So that's what I have to say.
Thank you.
Sherry wants something to say?
I would like to, too, please, if I could talk for a minute.
Sure, certainly.
You guys have to excuse me, I've never been in such a situation, and I have very much anxiety. Thank you for your time. The first thing that is very important that you understand is that this isn't an alley in a city that's behind the stores. This is an alley that's in my residential neighborhood along my whole thing. And if you stand at the road and look down the alley, you will see my house and my car. And I feel like 15 years, February will be 15 years that we've lived here. And Richard is the only one that has ever maintained that alleyway, ever. They have a parking lot that has 2 entrances, and we don't have any, and that's not fair. I became disabled since I've lived here. I have RA, and it makes my ankles not work so good. So I can get around my house and my yard, but I can't, walk places without my walker. And I have also, my cardiologist has told me to avoid any stress at all costs. And this is causing me so much stress. Oh, I'm almost done. I'm a caretaker for my 78-year-old mother that lives by herself. She's got breast cancer. And I am her caretaker, and I have to take her to treatment every single day, 5 days a week. And then on the weekends, I go over there and help her with stuff. And there is no possible way I could miss even one of her treatments. And I'm her only person that, my sister and brother are both gone. So I'm the only person that can help her. And I have to be available 24/7. Now, he called the police on my husband for simply taking the garbage can to the backyard using his blacktop driveway, his parking lot. So obviously I can't trust them ever again, anything that they say. So let's say, sometimes in the winter, you have to park at the end of your driveway because I'm not able to shovel. So sometimes I need to park at the end of my driveway so that I can get out. And what if, say, I'm coming home and my car breaks down halfway down the alley or I get stuck in the snow, he's going to call the police on me and get me towed. I can't live like that. I just can't. If there is even one car extra in my parking area, it's blocking the alley. So we are not allowed to have not one person at our house that has a vehicle. And our front yard is completely landlocked, so it's not like we can, it's just crazy. So anyway, so that's why I can't trust to know that we deserve to just have a alley a driveway that's ours. Can you imagine having to ask your neighbor if you can have your son over? That is ridiculous. I don't want any drama. I don't want no arguing. I just want peace in my life. And I feel like I'm far too old to be asking permission from my neighbor if my daughter can come over to my house. That is just not fair. All I ask is that you guys just for 1 minute put yourself in my place. That I have to have access in and out. And I don't need somebody telling me with their stupid little dots where I can park. What can I do? That's all just please put yourself in my place. That's all I ask. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and I have to spend Thanksgiving with my mom alone because she can't be around anybody.
Well, happy Thanksgiving to you and your mom and
Thank
your
you
husband,
so
too.
much.
All right? Thank you for answering that silly question.
Can we ask questions?
We can ask questions. I was gonna ask if we got correspondence.
Okay,
Everyone got the
good.
correspondence? Did you have a question, Mr. Kinnaman?
Yes, was there ever an agreement for an easement to use that driveway?
No, Jerry
Their
Walker
driveway?
told me that technically
Yeah.
we are completely landlocked.
Okay. So in your deeds, there was never, purchase deeds, there was never a
There was-
shared,
There
access
was discussion
via.
about the alley in the front, but our half of the alley runs right underneath of my house.
Okay,
So we don't have not
It's just a
one
messed up
foot to
situation.
drive or
Yeah.
to walk.
But we got that house, I tried so many times to try to get that for our driveway. I was gonna close it off real nice.
So many people told us that they would help us, they would help us, they would help us.
We just
And
can't
then
do
we
that.
thought we were gonna get help, and then the neighbors called the police, and I
had-
just can't have this stress in my life.
I had to wake up people that parked in the very end of the alleyway, and get them out of there, keep parking there. Just
I
messed
have a
up.
question.
Ms. Musgrave, you have a question?
Yes, was there ever discussion about, I know there's an issue with flooding back there in the
Yes.
basement. Was there ever discussion about removal of that drain and blocking that off?
They tried, he had a lot of trouble with the neighbors behind us,
Yes,
and because their whole yard would flood. And
due to that drain back there.
so Stuart tried closing it up, he tried everything, and
It still has to be.
It's unplugged right
It
now.
still has to be professionally dug down, so it can, what's what I'm looking for.
and we laid eight yards of gravel, and you still slide because it's so deep, the mud back there.
The drainage has gotta be a better drainage on that drain. You just can't dig it down 2 feet and put a pea stone in there. He's gotta get some kind of special trap that goes down up in there or something, because it's still doing the same thing out there.
What was my understanding, and I may have misunderstood, forgive me if I did, that you wanted to eliminate that,
Eliminate what?
the storm drain?
I just want a driveway.
We just want to be able to put gravel down our
I
driveway.
put gravel down
and
there,
go.
I got the okay from Jerry Walker to put the gravel down, I put the gravel down, it's working real well, but we just wanna get a driveway back there.
It doesn't seem too much to ask.
Call it our own, and put the swing gate up there and put some nice privacy fence up.
But
That's
what
all we want.
happens if you remove the storm drain?
That's not a storm drain, that's from their back
That's
door.
from their back door over next door.
Their basement door has a code, it's code. and that water goes down there, there's a drain, and it goes straight
out
up
to
the
the
alley.
alleyway.
And we've never said anything about it. We have always had the best neighbors.
Yep.
We've never had the cops called on us before, I can promise you that.
Let me ask you this, in the 15 years that you've lived there, when Stephanie had it, did you have that same issue
Stephanie
with it?
was the best neighbor
Stephanie was
ever.
a sweetheart.
She,
But did you have the flooding going on
Yes.
at the same time?
it's always been, yes, 'cause
Yeah.
it's just from that house. They didn't do it, that's been like, before we moved in, that drain was
It's
there.
been like that for, they moved in.
So,
Okay,
you know,
so
we're not
it's always
blaming
been
nobody.
like that.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Any further questions?
Yes, I wondered, it says 211 North Saginaw, owner of both lots. You have a lot behind you?
Yeah. And no driveway.
So that's completely landlocked.
Yes, completely.
That second lot is landlocked too?
Yes.
Well, yeah,
Well, it does have alley access.
right.
That's why we wanted to get the alleyway.
Well, and the alley is a public right of way, open to the public, and shouldn't be blocked by vehicles.
But if we have one person at our house, then we are blocking it, and that's not fair.
We can't have anybody over, so if we was to purchase it,
Any further comments or questions, council? And there was correspondence. The village council can do one thing, they can either vacate it or not vacate it, and vacating doesn't fix the problem. Vacating abandons the alleyway, and the owners on either side own half.
But he's not against it. He's already got his half.
Well, we're all done having public comment now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, that's all right, that's all right. I heard what you said. So we don't have a solution, and the council can't solve this problem, because if we vacate it, it's divided, and we still have all the issues that are still there. You have less access, because it's not a public right of way. You only have access to half that alley at that juncture. They can put a fence down the middle, so that doesn't solve the problem.
no.
And if there was a solution, I think council would vote to solve the problem, but I don't think there is. Our recommendation is from the staff and from the attorney to leave it as it is. Leave it an alley that's open to the public, and can be used for ingress and egress. What's the pleasure of council?
Do you think that it's possible to have like a sign that says no parking, public road or something, to at least avoid someone else parking at the far end? You know,
Yeah, so
Because-
the ingress egress isn't blocked.
right, so that there's at least passageway there, and if somebody parks in there or goes to park in there, they see a sign, at least that says, you know, public roadway, no parking, to avoid somebody at the end at least blocking you. Because I understand as well, you know, if you've got that 50-50 split, that, that west end of it there, there's two lot owners on that back street that are gonna get half of each of that
And we've
property
already
as
got
well.
permission.
Right.
Sorry.
On First
Yeah.
Street.
Huh?
On First Street.
Right. And I'm not sure we can really just vacate it and give it to whoever we please.
No.
Vacating, as I'm understanding you to say, is that it is divided 50-50 to the adjoining properties, which actually makes your scenario worse.
Much worse.
We
From
can-
what I'm
Yeah,
understanding.
that's a good question, Mr. Kennan. We can pursue the signage issue with the staff, I think.
Yeah,
Good
something
idea.
that helps.
But I still can't, can I talk, please?
Yeah, sure.
I still can't park at the end of the drive, I still can get stuck. I still am landlocked, and if my mom needs me and it snows, I have no way to get out. I need to be able to park at the end so that I can get out and do what needs to be done. I can't shovel, I'm disabled.
Yeah.
Is there
I don't
clearance in
think
your
we
yard
have,
to be able to have a pull off into your yard? You know, to have a paved section in your yard for your parking?
they have no frontage.
Oh, I'm talking coming from the alley. If they could, because they've got the extra lot in the back,
Well, it's
I
not
mean,
really an
there has to
extra
be
lot, it's my
some room
yard.
for,
That's our yard back there.
oh, I understand. I'm just asking.
Not
We're-
easily.
We're limited in what we can do. We can
Right.
vacate or not vacate.
Can you please tell me then who it is that we would talk to about getting the alley? Because we've been told for 15 years now that we will get it. They don't even
I don't know,
have
I don't know who
any-
told you that. This body's only choice is to vacate or not vacate. If we vacate, it's divided at least 4 ways, from what I can tell. And the promise that it'll be available is
False.
it's a promise, but they don't have to keep it. So we can't fix all the problems out there by vacating it or not vacating it.
So really,
But
these,
By vacating it, I think it makes it worse.
I think so.
I think it makes it worse. Somebody could put, any one of those owners who's adjacent could put a fence up.
I don't understand how, everybody's got fences up there. But I don't understand how can anybody landlock someone? How can that be?
Well, you do have, you're not landlocked, you do have
Well,
access.
Jerry Walker told me that I am.
Well, you do have, well, landlocked means that you've got no access to a public right of way. You do have access to a public right of way.
I was told I didn't.
Well, you've got a front yard that accesses a front.
We can't get to the
I
front.
understand that. You don't have a driveway on Saginaw Street, I understand that. But you're not landlocked, you do have access in and out. You have a public right of way that comes, the alley's a public right of way also.
So
I don't-
Jerry Walker told me not the truth then, is that what you're saying?
I don't know what Jerry Walker told you. He's never lied to me, so I don't know what your experience is,
He
okay?
told me that I'm landlocked. I
Well,
promise you that he told me that I'm
I
landlocked.
disagree with that description of it, because you do have access to an alleyway that's a public right of way, and you have access to Saginaw Street too. You don't have a driveway there, I acknowledge that. I don't think I can,
Can you help me
I
figure out
don't,
what we can
the
do?
council can't, with its choices, they got 2 choices, vacate or not. It doesn't address your problems.
Mr. President, if I could, excuse me, I think you framed the issue perfectly. Attempts made by council tonight to try to solve these problems, mediate the dispute, come up with solutions, is really not the proper place or forum to do it. The only issue before you is vacate. Mr. Walker attempted to try to mediate some of these disputes through this license agreement. That is better, I think, done outside a council meeting. Those efforts failed. So I think any effort for, for 7 people to do it in a public meeting is, again, not the proper place. So the question is, do you vacate or do you not vacate? The solution is still there. If they can come up with a solution with those people that are gonna be sharing that space, it may make it easier for council. But without an agreement, you're still gonna have those problems.
Thank you, Mr. Gilman.
One question, Mr. President. Would it be proper, would it be in order to, in a single motion, to move to not vacate the alleyway and also resolve to place no parking signs in the alley as Mr. Kinnaman suggested?
Well, I think we should take no action, because that's the recommendation, but insofar as regulating by signage, I think I'd rather have the staff address that, because I think there are rules and regulations about signage.
2 separate issues.
Yeah, and I feel like that could possibly be micromanaging into a staff matter. It's not a governance matter about a sign, so I don't think that's something that we should take a motion on. But I think staff has heard recommendation and might be able to look into something. And I agree that no action is the best way to handle this. I think it leaves it a little more clean and clear rather than an actual no. Leaves it, there's nothing being done. currently. And as Mr. Gildner said, you know, I think there's several landowners around there that might need to come and work out something that could then come to us for a way to vacate with documentation that who gets what. But without that, I think we're making it worse for you than better.
Mr. President, do we need a motion on this to
No,
vacate?
I don't think we do. I think we can just,
Not to vacate? Okay.
no, I think we can just move on to new business.
Okay.
And the issue remains open for opportunities to resolve it. Under new business, item number 1 is report on 108 Airport Road. Mr. Clausen?
Council, you have attached a summary of events that have taken place over the last several months at 108 Airport. I can answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions of Mr. Clausen regarding the history of events at 108 Airport?
Mr. Clausen, he's been cited multiple times, not only by the village, but also warned by the Oakland County Health Department.
Yeah, you have an attached letter from the Oakland County Health Department for a second notice complaint for suspected sewage being discharged into a public right-of-way. And there's a summary of events that have taken place. They've had several contacts with the owner at 108 Airport. And there is clarification of the events that took place on August 31st, also in this report. So,
once again, there's no action requested by staff and no action required.
any other questions?
If there's no questions for Mr. Clausen or comments,
here.
we can move on.
Really?
I beg your pardon?
Really?
Did you want to make further comment?
Yeah, who owns the basin in my driveway?
I don't know. Did you want,
Exactly. Don't know.
you can make comment. It's not a dialogue, though.
I'm asking, any information he has, I have no, only thing I have is from the health
Do you
department.
want to come up and make further comments? Because you can. You got 4 minutes.
I've had many talks with the township, many talks with health department. Health department came out one day, tested the water. They had E. coli come in the water, bacteria. The same day that the test results came back, I got 4 citations from the village. $2,000 worth of tickets. No warning, no nothing like that. The village has known of the issue since Saginaw Street was being repaired, and there is damage in Saginaw. Oakland County Drain Commission told me, myself, and Brian has told me myself, heading eastbound on Airport Road, there is no record of a drain, a storm drain, heading towards Saginaw. But yet you go to my driveway, inside the center of it, right there in that basin, you'll see a drain heading towards Saginaw. And when they did the repairs, they blocked it off. The only thing I'm trying to do is keep the water from going into my basement. All I'm pumping is the water that's coming from uphill of me into the basin that is allegedly, we don't know for sure because we don't know who owns the basin, is illegally hooked up. I've asked Jerry, I've asked Brian, I've asked Oakland County, I've asked Eagle now. Eagle's getting involved on this situation, on who owns that basin. Eagle's going to be testing basins all down Airport Road now. They're going to be testing everything. There's a whole fuss of stuff going on now. The only thing that goes into that basin from my house is my the drainage tile around my house and a wash machine, which the wash machine is going to be redirected from going in there. There's no raw sewage that comes from my house into there. There's no raw sewage I discharge out of there. I don't know how you guys would feel. I mean, you get 10 inches of water in your basement because of something that you can't control, and it's not coming from my basement drain. It's coming in through that pipe before it even hits my backflow preventer. Wouldn't you be doing the same thing if you had a storm drain in your driveway? Or just be like, well, flood my basement, wreck my house. I pay $179,000 for it. I mean, and I've asked repeatedly, who owns it? They had the architects come out. We had something all set up to do it. And next thing you know, it got shut down and nothing was ever said about it again. They were going to come out and move everything over in the neighbor's yard. Never did that. I told them I concreted in. They said if I do that, I'm liable. Well, nobody's given me any definition since July of who owns this basin in my driveway. I want to know who owns it. If I own it, I'm closing the whole thing off. That way then I don't have to pump. I don't have a problem. I mean, does that make sense? Once I connect after I connect my washing machine to the sanitary, if it rains, my basement will still flood because it's still open to go into my basement. The only way to prevent it is to fill the whole thing in. It's a hazard for my driveway. The cap is not sealed down. It's not up to code. It's an absolute terrible, holy mess. And everybody I've talked to says, we don't know who owns it. And they were supposed to get back with me on it. And no one has yet to get back with me. I called Eagle my own self and said, I have gray water that goes in there for my washing machine. The health department says there is a tremendous amount of bacteria coming through there. And it bugs me because of the fact that it goes into Bush Lake and Bevins Lake. And if it's the cause of just that, but there's got to be a singular cause more than that. Not saying that Holly's doing anything wrong.
You had your 4 minutes for the second time, okay? Thank you.
Well, I'd like to get the report that has all the information on it, though. I feel I'm entitled to that.
If there's no objection, there having been no recommendation for council, we'll move on to new business number 2. Consideration of the approval of the fire department union contract. Chief McGee. Good evening.
Good evening.
Are you ready to answer my question?
Thursday, 1 o'clock, my place. I'm cooking. I'm cooking. There'll be lumpy potatoes. I'm just going to give you advice or heads up.
One other comment, cute pic of you and your mom.
Isn't that a great picture?
Mm-hmm.
So what I have, this has been about almost 2 years, a year and a half in the works. So the firefighters did approve this contract that you have in front of you. It was, it started with the police. We started with the police contract and really deducted as we went through. So the kind of the highlights are this contract, if approved by you, will end December 31st, 2023. The village manager really wanted to try to stagger it if we could with all the, this is going to be staggered now. He didn't want it. He wanted to have all contracts at once. So we'll try to do that the next round. But the highlights really are, it really just outlines what probationary period is and just wages. They actually did increase a couple dollars an hour, which we had talked about doing a year and a half ago. So that's in there. The thing that I really like is it requires people to work a minimum amount of hours. Even again, we're a combination department, so we rely on a lot of paid on-call people to, wear their pagers, jump up in the middle of the night kind of thing. but there's months that we don't see anybody. So this document now, people have to dedicate 12 hours a month to the department because there is a cost associated with fire gear and training and those sorts of things. So that's in there. And then coverage at night. And really it did identify the holidays. That was never documented. So it really just cleaned everything up. Again, because of COVID last year, we really didn't get much done. So nothing against the fire association or our staff. It was tough with COVID going on. But we're recommending approval of the Michigan Association of Firefighters, MAF for short, the contract with the Village of Holly.
Any questions of Chief McGee?
I'd make the motion then that we approve.
Second.
There's a motion and support to accept the contract. Michigan Association of Firefighters with the Village of Holly. Any further comments or discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Powers.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Musgrave.
Yes.
Weinbrenner.
Yes.
Delaney.
Yes.
Kinnaman.
Yes.
McKenney.
Yes, motion carried.
Thank you.
Chief. Item number 3, special event, Holly Dickens Festival Parade.
The reason that's under new business is, it wasn't in the 60-day window. It's the same as last year. Well, I take that back. The parade is moving to Saturday along with the tree lighting ceremony. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, one of those years, and when we had it in the past, so, but it's moving to Saturday, the parade and the tree lighting. That is the only difference.
Actually, the route's a little different too.
Is it? Okay.
It is, yes.
So,
What is the route, Mr. Kinnaman?
The route this time, if you'll notice the map, we are going to line up on Park, facing Maple Street, and then go from there down towards town and then finish. The reason for that change is the changes that they did in the renovations at Holly Elementary closed off the pass-through, and so it is now 2 separate parking areas with a retention pond and a fence in between. And so we can no longer use that as a staging area with expansion for parades. And so this needs to be a shorter parade. We've moved most of the other parades we've done to line up here from Carl Richter. And this one, in the dark, we don't want it to be quite as long. And so we're starting at Park, which actually is about a half a block shorter than what it used to be.
Thank you.
What's the parking situation for people that are going to be in the parade?
We are using the school parking lot for those participants who are going to park and walk or ride with another vehicle.
Lakeside Park would be a good option too, if you're gonna line up on Park. 'Cause it's
I
only,
don't think we're gonna go that far down.
okay.
We're using Elm Street as our back-end entrance to come in and just line up in that section. It has been a smaller parade, and so we think that that'll be plenty of space.
Ryan's house is on College Street, you could park there.
Yeah. Traffic goes all around the house.
There you go. It's a plan. I'll make a motion that we approve the special event for the Holly Dickens Festival Parade with the, as it appears on the event application.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and support. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Perkins.
Yes.
Musgrave.
Yes.
Weinbrenner.
Yes.
Delaney.
Yes.
Kinnaman.
Yes.
Powers.
Yes.
McKenney.
Yes, motion carried. Item 4, special event, Holly Dickens Festival. Mr. Clausen?
Same thing, this was moved down because of the 60-day window, but it spells out in the past 3 weekends last weekend of November, first 2 weekends of December. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like the same foot pattern as before.
We are going with the same footprint, and one of the reasons this was not submitted earlier is we are still struggling with tents, finding tents available to do some of what we need to do in Crapo Park, and so that was our hesitancy, was whether our footprint was going to change, and so we're sticking with what we've had and hope tents show up in the next week.
What type of tents are you looking for? Just enclosed tent like we do for
Commercial,
graduation?
yeah, commercial outdoor tents. We have been through several tent companies already, and one of their challenges is a lot of school districts have taken tents for this year because they can operate outdoors without masks. Kind of gets them beyond the mandate a little bit. Other than that, new tents supplies are months behind like everything else. So the company we used in the past, when their tents blew across the lot and were damaged, have not been able to be replaced. I went through somebody today that it just didn't pan out, so. And they were from Clear and Dearborn, so.
I might have some for you.
Okay.
A lot of them stopped in October. and they're just
Right.
put away.
Yeah, there are a lot of tents that are not appropriate for the cold weather, so that's,
You gotta have the heavy
that,
canvas.
yeah, that's one of our real challenges is
Okay, I might have
where
some.
stuff happens, so that's been the reason for the late entry on this.
I'll make the motion that we approve the Holly Dickens Festival request as stated.
Support.
Motion and support. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Musgrave,
Yes.
Weinbrenner,
Yes.
Delaney,
Yes.
Kinnaman,
Yes.
Powers,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
McKenney.
Yes. Motion carried. Item 5 under new business, consideration of the approval of fiscal year 2022 Smart Municipal Credit Contract. Ms. Bigger?
Thank you, council. This is a copy of our 2022 municipal credit contract. We do this every year. It's for our smart buses. It allows us to get a funding level this year of $11,381. We get the municipal credits from the communities that we partner with, and also Holly is given a municipal credit. The 11,381 is the total of all of them, and it is the same contract as we passed last year.
I'll make the motion that we approve the 2022 Smart Municipal Credit Contract
I'll second the motion.
application.
Motion and support. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Kinnaman,
Yes.
Powers,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Musgrave,
Yes.
Weinbrenner,
Yes.
Yes.
McKenney. I'm missing one. I didn't know if I should stretch it out.
I thought you wanted me to leave.
No.
Motion carried.
No, I thought if I did it slower, it would work, but I guess not.
Item 6 under new business, consideration of the approval of fiscal year 2023 Smart Specialized Services Operating Assistance Program.
Thank you, President McKenney. This is to approve SMART to apply for the grant for federal funding. That's why it's 2023, because we have signed the contract, and that gives SMART the authority to apply for the federal grant. If they get the grant, which they always do, our portion would be $22,422 to assist with our transportation services.
I'll I'll make that motion that we approve the fiscal year 2023 Smart Specialized Services Operating Assistance Program.
I'll second.
Motion and support. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Kinnaman.
Yes.
Powers.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Musgrave.
Yes.
Weinbrenner.
Yes.
Delaney.
Yes.
McKinney.
Yes. Motion carried.
Brian's like, I don't know what I'm voting on, but yes.
I do my homework.
Oh, trust me, he knows.
Mr. Clausen, you have anything to offer as the,
The only addition is, I believe somebody asked last time about 105 Railroad Street, and we do have a correspondence, that was sent to Jeremy Watson, from the property owner Mike Mills, outlining, demolition of the current building. He's currently waiting on Consumers Energy to disconnect the service and give him the all clear. It looks like the time frame that he's established in this letter is to have the building down this year and at rough grade, and then start new construction in the spring with completion later on in 2022.
Bravo.
Great.
Thank you.
105 Railroad Street, the old railroad train, or the firehouse training building. To have it demoed, and then new construction to start in the spring.
Question, when they demo, I mean,
It's gonna get pushed to the east, or?
no. No way, Jose.
I thought they were just gonna fill it with explosives.
I like fireworks, but not that close.
You got marshmallows, right?
Yeah. S'mores, anyone?
is there anyone who will answer your question for you? I don't know. Want to try again?
I think they're jerking your chain, Deb.
I think they are. Yeah, I would just love to see that it's, I want little leftovers.
No, he said he was gonna backfill it and grade the lot for the winter, so it should be a rough grade for the winter, and then they'll start construction in the spring, so I imagine there'll be a basement or some kind of foundation going in the following spring.
Okay, and he's gonna take the critters with him?
They're gonna be relocated to the east.
I know.
We can send them over to 400 Elm.
Yeah, I watch a groundhog every summer. Come out, go down, go in the basement, and come back out. He's happy.
Did they get this?
Any further, Mr. Clausen?
Okay, yeah, no, that's it.
Thank you very much. Mr. Gildner?
Concerning 108 Airport Road, the gentleman indicated that he had contacted the prosecutor's office to try to get some information about these incidents that you were given a report on. I assume he meant he called the county prosecutor. The reports were actually sent to my office for review because the ordinances involved are local ordinances. I authorized charges against the homeowner, and the case is pending. I don't know how much of that he knows at this point in time. Obviously, he left before this report, but right now it's an active case in court, and I'll be handling it.
Thank you, Mr. Gildner. Ms. Bigger?
Nothing to add to my written report this month.
Boards and commissions, updates and council comments. Mr. Powers?
Yes, several things. Wanted to remind everybody we're doing our Valued Veteran Program this Saturday at the Holly Moose. All veterans eat for free, and we're very privileged and honored this year to give our Patron of the Year award to our own Angie Lemon. Yay. So help us celebrate. I should say well deserved.
Take a bow.
Well deserved. And the brunch is $8, and it's free to all veterans. And it's usually really a good time. We have the 21 gun salute. The road will be blocked off for about 20 minutes, and that's for the 21 gun salute. and then we start the brunch at 9 o'clock. I hope to see everybody there. And by way of parks, Parks did their Halloween this year. I think it was a huge success, and thanks in large part to people like Sarah and Angie for pulling it off. And I think everybody had a real good time. And I know my grandkids had a great time.
Looked like a great turnout.
Pardon me?
I say it looked like a great turnout.
Very good turnout. Given the circumstances, I thought it was a very good turnout.
A little rainy.
Yeah, it was kind of nasty weather out, but that doesn't stop trick-or-treaters. But that's it for me. Once again, I hope to see everybody on Saturday.
Thank you, Mr. Powers. Mr. Kinnaman?
Planning Commission did not meet this last month. In Charter and Ordinance, we have had 3 meetings thus far on the development of our marijuana ordinances, and we have another meeting on the 23rd, and hopefully at that meeting we will have documents that we will recommend back to council for December. A couple of comments. One of them is some legislation running through, it's been through the House and is now in the Senate on short-term rentals, the Airbnbs. We had looked at this if you remember, we developed an ordinance, zoning ordinance through Planning Commission on short-term rentals, and believed that we had developed a very nice document that works well for property owners, renters, and the community at large. And at this point, the House, the Michigan House has passed a bill that would completely eliminate that entire ordinance. Their bill says that municipalities may not regulate any form of short-term rentals. May not do inspections, anything other than what is what you do to a normal residence. And the version that is now in the Senate is looking at adding some carve-outs within the state in order to buy votes, as in certain districts or municipalities within areas where they would like to gain a vote are being excluded from the requirements. So if you, I know that our state senator here, Ruth Johnson, is opposed to this legislation. She has worked with us and talked with us about this. Mike Mueller was a sponsor. There is thought that it's related to personal property rights, but what I have commented on that is that those personal property rights are not for individual property owners, but for national corporate investors who are purchasing multiple homes and properties within particularly vacationing communities and turning them into unregulated, unmonitored, my term for it is frat party weekends. And there's a lot of challenges with that. So if you know any state senators other than Ruth Johnson, and it wouldn't hurt to call and tell her that you thank her for supporting not enacting this. But we need to stop this thing or come up with something that that does a better job. And then on the Dickens Festival, Marlo talked about Friday night. The only thing that will happen on Good Friday, other than lots of shopping, will be the community sing, and it will take place this year at First Baptist Church. Gathering at 5:30, program starts at 6. Everything else we have moved to Saturday night. The parade will be on Saturday at the conclusion of the first day of the festival. One of our reasons for moving the parade like that was there are other communities in the area who already have well-established Friday parades, and we've struggled with gaining other entries. And so we're hoping that by moving it to Saturday, we might have people who have already been in one parade and have a float that may come to a second one the next night. And so that's with that. And so Dickens Festival, once again, is 3 weekends, Saturday and Sunday, beginning Thanksgiving weekend. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kinnaman. Ms. Musgrave.
Finance and personnel have not met, so I have nothing to report there, but I'd like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and enjoy your time with your family and friends and be safe.
You're entertaining, or you? Because I'm already going to the Chief McGee's house, so I gotta.
I'm not sure yet.
Okay, it's early yet. You're right.
It's early. I'm not sure yet. I've been invited to places, but I'm not sure yet.
Thank you. Mr. Perkins.
HDC met on the 14th. We had a presentation from Nicole Edwards on the CLG application status, the Certified Local Government Program. And she notified us that she is pretty well ready. She's just waiting on a couple of pieces of information, documentation from Mr. Walker, and the process is moving along. Other than that, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Yeah, if I may, I did have one question. Mr. Gilbert, during your comments, I wanted to ask you a question. Status on 400? No.
I believe we're gonna be talking about that, is number 7. I
Okay,
think.
wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins. Mr. Weinrenner.
I have nothing, sir, at this time.
Happy Thanksgiving. Are you
Yeah.
entertaining or being entertained? Or is it early yet?
I think we're gonna be entertaining
I'm
for
entertaining.
my wife. Hey, you coming over?
And we're a team now, right?
Mr. Delaney.
The ZBA met on Monday, November 1st. There was just one item on the agenda. The owner of 415 LeGrand was asking for a number of variances related to the amended ordinance about horses that we had recently passed. All 3 of those variances were ultimately denied by the ZBA. And that is all that I have to report, besides just wishing everyone happy Thanksgiving. And you'll have to ask Mrs. Delaney if we're entertaining or being entertained. I think it's a little up in the air. But whatever she says, that's...
You're on a need-to-know basis. I understand that. I understand that. Ms. Bigger, you are working with the auditors. Do you have something to report, or no?
No, we're still doing pre-audit, filling out all the forms and spreadsheets that you'll see in the audit report eventually. So far, it's moving along.
And you entertaining or being entertained?
I am being entertained.
Isn't that nice, isn't it?
That is.
Yeah, that's good. Good. On Thursday, Rick, you'll be at the post office at 1 o'clock.
I'll be
For
there.
the naming ceremony.
Absolutely.
In honor of the Holly area veterans. Ryan, you're gonna be speaking, aren't you, Ryan Delaney?
Not at the post office.
No?
I think you might be thinking of, I will be giving the invocation
At the
at the,
Lakeside.
No, the Moose.
At the Moose.
Yeah,
Oh.
at the
Alright.
Veterans Appreciation Brunch.
I knew you had a gig this weekend, I didn't know where it was. I'm glad- Now I know, I have no excuse. But there is a naming ceremony on Thursday. Everyone have a happy Thanksgiving. Before we meet again,
Can I say something?
Certainly.
It's just driving me crazy. Rick, I did not, do I need to come up here?
yes.
Angie
Especially when you talk to
Lemons.
Rick.
State your name and address because
Angie
we don't know
Lemon,
you.
116 College Street. Thank you for the compliment for Saturday, but I did not have anything to do with holidays, except I danced. I was a witch.
What else would
That-
you want?
That was Sarah McCanny, and all the rest of the Parks Commission. And Nick over here, and everybody. All I did was dance that day. I don't deserve credit for that.
Thank you for all your help.
You were a cute witch.
Thank you.
Before we meet next month, we'll have the annual Goodfellow paper sale on the first weekend, Friday and Saturday in December. It's a big fundraiser. Then we gather on the 23rd of December and pack those baskets for our necessitous friends and neighbors. And then we deliver them early on Christmas morning, or Christmas Eve morning. And working with the fire department, we get things done in pretty short order. So thank you for all your support in the past. Look forward to your support in the future. Anything further for the? Oh yeah, we have a motion to go into closed session.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and support to go into closed session to discuss pending litigation. Roll call vote, please.
Perkins.
Yes.
Musgrave.
Yes.
Weinbrenner.
Yes.
Delaney.
Yes.
Kinnaman.
Yes.
Powers.
Yes.
McKinney.
Yes, motion carried.
Works like a plan for me.
Debbie, are you gonna give an overview, or am I?
Probably Brian with you.